Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC. And a couple of weeks ago, on the very last leg of our trip, since we didn't make it to Texas and Blade Show, Joe and I decided to salvage the very last leg of our trip and go to Watkinsville, Georgia, where Georgia Bushcraft, Griffin Pocket Tool, or Casey Deming is located. We were invited to this invite-only event called Demo Days, part of Campfire Co-op. And Campfire Co-op's been going on for a while, but this is the very first demo days. So I really had no idea what I was getting myself into or what to expect. But I came out of it with kind of a new mindset, a new filter to put things through in a new perspective. So that's what this video is about. These are the 5 things that I learned about everyday carry, my world, from bushcrafters, which is a totally different realm. So with that said, let's do the damn thing. So like I said, I really had no clue what was going to happen at Campfire Co-op, why an EDC guy was going to a bushcraft event, and I was happy to learn when I got there that really nobody else had any idea what was in store. I was also really excited to learn that Smoky Mountain Knife Works and Blade HQ were there, so I wasn't like totally by myself. There were some people that I knew there at the event, which was really cool. And some other people that I really wanted to meet. So there was a guy named Rick from Blue Ridge Overland Gear. I've been looking at their stuff when I bought the Excursion, and I was gonna buy a few things for the truck before I left, but it wasn't gonna make it before the trip. So I made a new connection there, which was really, really cool. But yeah, I had no idea what to expect. So basically, we had a bunch of bushcraft people in the woods, and some of them were giving classes, like Joe Flowers. He gave a class on machetes. Carly Fairchild, she was from 2 different seasons of Alone, and she gave a course on foraging. And Bushcraft Kelso, which is one of my favorite people that I met the whole weekend, he gave a little bit of a class on smaller knives, which we'll come back to. But I went and took several of these classes and listened to them, and the whole time I was just kind of thinking about what I could possibly take away and how I could make a video about this. And I had no idea. I was just shooting stuff, filming the whole time with no idea what I was gonna make of it. And I took this one class from a man named Craig from Nature Reliance, and it clicked. Within 2 minutes of him talking, he said, I'm gonna take you through EDC over the years. And I was like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting to hear. So he was explaining basically something that I've said for a long time, which is EDC has been a constant throughout humanity, and it's something that has existed long before we called it everyday carry. I think anybody can agree with that. I think that's a pretty easy fact to accept, is that everyday carry, while it was not called everyday carry, has been a thing, and every person on this planet has an everyday carry, even if they don't consider it an everyday carry. Everyone carries something with them every day. A wallet, like who doesn't carry a wallet? So I've been trying to explain for years that everyone has an EDC, but Craig approached it from another perspective, that EDC has always existed, right? Daniel Boone, for example, had an EDC. All of those pioneers did, even Native Americans, and long before that. Basically, since the beginning of humankind, when people started making tools, there was an EDC, right? Like, it's just been a constant throughout humanity. So Craig explained that, and that was one of the first things I took away from this, is it kind of gave a new perspective on my personal everyday carry. These people, pioneers, for example, and Daniel Boone, just to go back to him, they carried things that helped them survive in the woods. We obviously no longer need to survive. We don't have to fight every single day to survive. Everything is pretty easy for us these days, give or take. You know, we can go to a restaurant or a grocery store and get food, so we don't have to constantly forage and hunt to eat. But at the same time, you can carry things that make your day easier, or survival, urban survival, a little easier. So it's a little less serious now. You're not necessarily carrying an axe and a big knife and a gun every day. I mean, somebody, I'm sure somewhere is, but that goes back to what Craig said, is, you know, they had to carry big bags full of tools and stuff to survive. But now we have all these really high-tech little things that can really make your life easier, even in a survival situation. Something that came up in his talk was a Griffin pocket tool. It packs a lot of punch into a very, very small piece of metal. But as Craig was talking, I started thinking about my carry and how it would serve me, how it serves me, but how it makes my life easier, what it provides to me, and if shit were to hit the fan, how well would it serve me, right? If I got stuck or stranded somewhere, would my carry actually help me in that situation, or is it just cool, pretty tools that I carry because they make me happy? I think there's a little bit of both, right? I carry a nice knife that would help me in a survival situation. I carry a flashlight always, and there are things that I carry that I think would help me, but I could definitely fine-tune my carry to better help me in a situation, a survival situation, or you know, where things do go sideways, shit hits the fan situation. I definitely think my carry could be improved for something like that without being too bulky or unnecessary. So I don't know, it just gave me kind of a filter to put my carry through, and made me just rethink why I carry certain things and whether I should put new stuff into my carry. I haven't really sat down and thought about it yet fully, but I think maybe in the next EDC update video that I do, probably pretty soon, I'm gonna touch on this and show you maybe how my carry has changed since learning some of this stuff from Bushcrafters. I don't plan to carry a big fixed blade and all this stuff, but I think there might be some stuff in my carry that I didn't have previously. The second thing that I learned isn't necessarily new to me. It's not a new concept. It's something I've actually been talking about for a long time, and that is, when it comes to knives, size doesn't really matter. You can do a lot with a tiny, tiny knife, a whole hell of a lot. And I've been saying this for years. There's only a little bit that a large knife can do that a small knife can't. Most of the time when you're cutting with a knife, you're cutting with a very small portion of the blade. Very seldom do you use that entire blade. It does happen, obviously. In the kitchen, you can tell that when you're doing food prep with a small knife, kind of sucks. So there is definitely a case for carrying larger knives, but in general, a small knife can do, I'd say 90 to 95% of what a large knife can do, and that was what Kelso was driving home. I've said it, I did a video pretty recently about the best small EDC knives, and many of those were really, really tiny knives, and I still like those. I tend to carry bigger folders most of the time, but not always. I've lately been carrying the tactile knife company Rockwall lately, and it's a fairly small knife, not a very large blade, but basically Kelso was saying you can be more precise with your cuts, and he prefers, he may carry multiple knives on him when he goes into the woods, but he tends to use his small neck knife more often than not. And yeah, I totally agree. I carry big folders because I like them, but many times I will opt for a small knife as well. Number 3 is also something that's not necessarily news to me, but it's something that I needed a refresher on, I guess, just to be jogged a little bit, and that is that blade steel isn't everything. I know that, right? D2, 8CR13 MOV, they're fine, they cut, they work. You just have to sharpen them a little more. But the interesting thing is that the entire weekend, the topic of blade steel came up very seldomly. Like, nobody was snobby about anything. SE knives and LT Wright knives were there. They mostly use 1095 or tool steels. And I get it, like Bushcraft, you need something that you can also service in the field. You need something that can be sharpened without, you know, diamond plates or something, you know? So nobody out there really wanted anything M390 or S90V or anything exotic. Like, blade steels were not something that was talked about a whole lot. And I'll be the first to admit I am not a blade steel snob. I do really like my totally rust resistant blade steels like Teravantium and Vanex and MagnaCut because I rust things so easily. But if anybody were gonna rust knives, it'd be these people, right? They're using tool steels in the woods and sweating and getting all sorts of stuff on them, but they didn't care. They didn't sit there and complain about what blade steel these knives had or anything, right? It was about ergonomics and serviceability and, you know, how great the blade shape was. That was it. That's what they care about, right? They don't care about, you know, high-end exotic steels. And to be in the EDC world and experience that with a bunch of knife people in the woods for a whole weekend, it was really interesting and refreshing to not hear people just spec whore over blade steels. Because if you spend any amount of time in my Discord server, you're definitely going to get a wall of text about different blade steels and why this is better than that and why you should only carry. It's exhausting, because people love one blade steel and then they hate this one and hate this one, and then the one that they loved is no longer cool. They're on to the next thing. It's impossible to keep up with. It's a little frustrating, and I've never really been that kind of person. I don't really care what blade steel a knife comes with most of the time, as long as I can sharpen it and it stays fairly sharp. I'm pretty happy with it, but it was just extremely refreshing to not have a whole bunch of people just shoving blade steel knowledge down my throat all the time. So, and I get it, different worlds, different purposes, but it was just very refreshing. And it's something that we all should remember, right? Blade steels are cool, and it's really cool if you're into metallurgy. But when it comes down to it, as long as you can sharpen it relatively easily and it stays somewhat sharp for a while, like, why care? You know, I know that people have their favorite steels and whatnot, but at the end of the day, if it cuts, it cuts. And that's how I've always felt about things. Even though when it does come to truly stainless steels, I do geek out a little bit just because I rust everything. Number 4 is organization. In the EDC world, we have pocket organizers, we have bag organizers, we have pouches, we have all sorts of stuff to keep gear organized. But one of the coolest things I took away from this trip in particular were Ranger bands. I knew what they were, and I know that historically they were used to keep gear tight to your chest, right? For military, like you've got all sorts of stuff attached to you and it'll clink and clang, and Ranger bands were originally cut up bike tubes, inner tubes, so that you could just strap your stuff down so it wouldn't jingle and rattle all over the place. But these Bushcraft people have applied that to organization. So this is not a great setup. This is just something I threw together really quickly to kind of give you an example of what these people use these Ranger bands for. I've seen them in many different configurations. So on this, I have a whetstone with a tiny strop, Griffin pocket tool, some fat wood and all, and then right into here, you can't see it really, but there is a ferro rod. Bushcraft Kelso, in his class that he gave with the small knives, he had a table full of little neck knives with little setups like this. I don't know what he calls it, but he has all sorts of stuff on there, stuff that's very handy and useful to have. I will be using this, especially on my camping knives and backpacking knives moving forward. Brilliant idea. I won't be using this setup in particular. I will be putting together something a little more useful than this, but this was just an example. This was a constant that whole weekend. Everybody had some stuff like this on their knife, and I'd never seen something like this before. Absolutely brilliant, and lightweight, doesn't add a whole lot of bulk, and it's mostly unnoticeable. Like, I could still put this whole setup in my pocket with this ulti clip, and it wouldn't really bother me at all. Ranger bands, totally underrated by the EDC world, and I'd love to see what you guys can come up with as far as EDC stuff with Ranger bands. Let's see it. And the 5th thing I learned is something that I've heard the quote before, but I've never really applied it to my carry or my life, although everyone should, I think. But it's that knowledge doesn't weigh anything. And the second part of that is the more you know, the less you carry. So the more you know how to do, the less you need specialized tools for. You can accomplish more with less, and it's such a great concept, and it's something that I think everybody, especially in this EDC world, should apply to their carries. It's something that has applied to my entire life, right? My dad is a brilliant man. He is an engineer, and I've seen him make something from nothing so many times. We would wake up on, say, a Saturday, and we'd need to go do this job, but we didn't have the tool for it, and we're 20, 30 minutes away from the nearest like hardware store. Rather than go to the store, my dad would just make the tool that we needed for the job that day, and then we would go do the job. Right? Like, it's the more you know, the less you need and the less you carry. Brilliant. And it's something that I should apply to my life more. And it's another reason why I really enjoyed taking some of those courses and learning some techniques and skills. I have so much to learn from some of those people that it's ridiculous. But it's something that I should apply to my life, and yeah, I don't know. We should all be learning more all the time, but that's just something that I heard out there. I think from Shane from SE Knives, I think I heard him say it a couple times. The more you know, the less you carry, and knowledge weighs nothing. Like, those are things that should be applied universally to everyone, but we live in a world where people don't really have to learn things like that all the time anymore. Survival skills especially, right? Like, we mostly live in an urban world where everything is at your fingertips. So I think it's important to learn the things that you don't absolutely have to know, but should. And because of that, if you do learn them, maybe you don't have to carry quite as much stuff. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I took out of this trip. And all of these things, these 5 things, weren't necessarily things I learned, but were definitely refreshers and a new perspective on an old topic, right? Putting this bushcraft knowledge through this EDC filter, it's rejuvenated me a little bit, and I think made me rethink a lot. I hope maybe you can take something from this, and maybe some of you will show up to the Georgia Bushcraft stuff. I think there's one this November, big camp out thing where you can take classes and hang out in the woods with a bunch of people. It's really cool, and I think I'm going to be going to the one in November. There's one later this month. I'm not going to because basically, long story short, we're buying a house right now and life is a little bit chaotic, so not going to be going through anything special this month. But yeah, hopefully this will jog something in you like it did for me. I came back just feeling rejuvenated even after being on this trip and being exhausted. I don't know, I have a new lens to look through for all of this stuff, and it's been really cool to kind of apply some of those new topics and ideas to what I've already been doing. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Everything that you need to know will be linked down below as far as Georgia Bushcraft and some of the people I talked about in the classes and Nature Alliance, Carly Fairchild, all that stuff. I'll be linking it down below, as well as these ranger bands and some other stuff from this weekend or past 2 weekends ago, whatever. Anyway, thank you guys again, and until next time, carry on.